Your guy JD. Hope all is well. Love and light, everyone. Um, I was just, I just did a live, but I had to disconnect from the live only because I believe a lot of you guys couldn't hear me, couldn't hear what I was saying. So I said, let me come back on. I got some downtime, leaving one job, heading to the next job. The grind doesn't stop, guys. The grind doesn't stop. If you one of those people that's doing all that you can possibly do to get yourselves out of the matrix, then you can relate to what I'm saying. uh, and just watching different videos and watching a lot of my fellow expats that are living in Dominican Republic. When I watch you guys, it just motivates me even more to do all of what I can do to get myself out of the Dominican Republic. The idea is work hard here in the States and invest your money elsewhere. You'll never be successful or rich working for somebody else. So the idea is to do all you can so that you ain't got to work for anybody. That's my motto anyway. You know what I'm saying? That is definitely my motto. So, um, as I was saying in my previous video live, for those of you guys that's just joining, be sure to hit the like, hit the share, and hit the subscribe button. Um, this live is just to talk about Dominican Republic, those of us who are living in the states that are looking to find another way, whether it be DR or Thailand or just pretty much working towards getting ourselves out of the matrix, getting ourselves out of the matrix. Like, what are some of you? I mean, a lot of us we may go on social media and look at other people's content and see how they're thriving and asking ourselves like, damn, how could I do that, or how did they manage to do that to get to that place? You know what I mean? um, Everybody's got a story, everybody got their own niche, and the idea is to figure out what it is that you can do to have the quality of life that you desire. You know what I mean? That's the idea, to be able to have the not have to work so hard, and have the quality of life that you desire. And everybody's quality of life that they desire is different. Like for me, guys, I'm 46 years old. I done a lot of my life. I done partied. I done clubbed. I done smoked as much reefer than anybody that I know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I done been there, done that. And when you get to a certain age, it's like, yo, what is next? You know what I'm saying? What is next? And for me, I've been that, living in New York, being from NY. I made a lot of money in my lifetime. Not to say millions or anything like that, but enough to be comfortable. And I never really like traveled outside of the United States. Can I ask a favor? uh Depending on what it is. I've made a lot, decent amount of money in my lifetime, but I didn't really like have the mindset that I have now at 46. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like if uh I lost a bet, it's not money. Can you fart into the mic? Nah, bro, this is wild. You're wild. But anyway, as I was saying, I have made money, and I just never had the somebody, to guide me and tell me and show me where I should invest my money and where I should put my money. When you're young, we're not thinking about investing. We're thinking about what's the latest Jordans out, what's the latest fashions, tattoos, materialistic shit. That's what most of us think about when we're young, and we don't start becoming, financially responsible until we reach a certain age. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't become financial responsible until it took me some time to get there. You know what I mean? And I must say about my late 30s is when I finally got my shit together. I'm not afraid to say it because it's a lot of us out there that are still struggling in our 30s that's trying to find our way, and that's okay. That's okay. The first step is self-realization, realizing that you got to make some changes in order to get to a better place in life. You know, and you never know how far life may take you until you start stepping outside of the box in order to experience something different. Kaboom, guess who stepped in the room? What's going on, guys? I'm gonna need you guys just joining in to hit the like, hit the share, and hit the subscribe. Future World Films, my guy, I appreciate you always tuning in and showing a brother love, man. I really do. But what I was talking about for those of you guys that's just jumping in, about investing our money and how and where we should invest our money. There's no telling what tomorrow's going to bring here in the United States. There's no telling with all the shit that's going on. Even for me, sending money back and forth to the Dominican Republic, like the American dollar, that shit keeps going up and down. And y'all know when you sending thousands of dollars, that shit starts to hit different. It starts affecting you. It's like, yo, you know what I mean? So seeing that is just showing me that our economy is not stable. It's not stable. So what are you gonna do, especially for people that are living off of uh, government programs, and eventually all that shit is gonna be done away with. It's gonna be done away with. Only time. It's only a matter of time. Okay. So I tell people now is the time to work as hard as you possibly can now, so that when that shit does hit, you are prepared. You are prepared. And this is why I'm working on doing what I need to do, working hard 7 days a week, sacrificing, saving, my and please, for those of you guys who are struggling, listen, you got to start somewhere, man. If you one of those people that have a hard time saving money, then maybe you might need to hire a financial advisor to help you distribute your money. That way you don't even see it. You see what I'm saying? And then, over time that money will start to build up, and then you'll be able to make some investments. But if you were just constantly sitting around, just trying to figure it out, you got to start to put things in action, put a plan in action, and start working on things little by little. That's the best advice I can give you. And you can't be all over the place, man. You can't. You got to tackle one thing at a time. One thing at a time, guys. One thing at a time. Even for me, I bought the land. Like I said, for me, and for those of you guys that are maybe you're in a situation where you got land already and you're trying to figure out how to get started. You might not have the funds to get started. Um, Listen, if you that person that's got a own property wherever you live, you might need to be one of those people to start renting out a room. I did it, and I tell you guys that from the beginning. I did it. I rented out my space in order to get to the next level. And my roommate being with me for 18 months, that was $18,000. 18,000. That went towards my home in the Dominican Republic. So you got to ask yourself, like, yo, how far are you willing to go uh, to in order to make sacrifices so that you can get to the next step and phase in your life? Because this ain't it for me. This is not it. I mean, initially I was like, yeah, I'm gonna finish the house and I'm gonna go down to Dominican Republic, and live my best life. No, 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 no. That was my initial idea. But if you one of those people that you are making the money, you want to be able to work as hard as you can and give yourself a time period so that you can, go to DR and live the best life that you desire. But you don't want to be one of those people that make irrational decisions. And I have seen it happen with people. They go down to Dominican Republic with a certain amount of money, and then within a year they done exhausted their funds only because they didn't do the right planning. They didn't do the right planning. Some of you are probably like, yo, I don't want to go down there and work. I just want to be comfortable and live off of, your investments. And a lot of you guys can do that, but there's a lot of us that can't, that are still young, still in our 30s, still in our 40s, in our 50s, that are trying to figure this shit out so that, we can live uh, our bestest life without having to work while we're down there. But that's not the reality for a lot of us. A lot of us are going to have to work. So, with that being said, well, if you're one of those people that know you are going to have to work in order to live the kind of life that you desire in Dominican Republic, it's time for you guys to start figuring this shit out now. How can you transfer, Casey? How can you transfer over 10,000 USD to DR? I thought USA restricts that. Not necessarily. You can. I have a Dominican account, and the most I have transferred at once is, I think it's like maybe 8,000. It was under 10,000 because once you go over 10,000, they start asking questions. And if you don't got nothing to hide, there should be no reason for you to answer the questions that they need to be answered. It's not that they're gonna stop the money from being transferred over. They just want to make sure that it's not money laundering. Okay, because a lot of that shit's going on. So if you are one of those people that are trying to transfer over a little over 10,000, for one, it doesn't take that long. Depending on your bank, it takes about roughly, they tell you seven to 10 business days. But I've had money transfer within a day or two. You know, so yeah. But that should never be an issue transferring money, and I usually transfer it from my account, my U.S. account, to my Dominican account. Yeah, but back to investing. Um, a lot of us, like I said, like including myself, I'm not excluding me because I know that I'm still going to be at that age where I'm going to need to work. So my thing is starting to brainstorm and figure out what it is that I can do to keep myself sustained in Dominican Republic without having to turn around and come back to United States with my tail between my legs. No problem. Um, and I think that's a lot of our problems. Okay, but there is definitely a solution to that, especially when you know that you have a huge expat community. Even for me, no matter what business I tap into, um, my supporters is going to show up and show out. You see what I'm saying? And when you have a platform, easier to get the kind of support. Not that I'm saying that I'm going to open up a business and it's going to thrive just on the expats. No, no, we got to be realistic with ourselves. Like, you want to make sure that whatever business that you are opening up, it's a business that's going to be able to uh, not just support. It's a business that's going to be able to provide services not to just the expat, but the locals as well. You want to be able to provide services to uh, both the expats and the um, the local people. You see what I'm saying? But I will say this: Dominican Republic is changing at a rapid pace, and it's for us to capitalize on it now. And I say us because I'm part of it. I'm not rich. I work 7 days a week in order to make this shit happen. And if you want to make it happen for yourselves, you might have to work 7 days a week too. You see what I'm saying? But if you do all the sacrificing now, especially if you are in your 30s, I can't stress this enough to my because a lot of you guys that are following me, the analytics tell me like it's a lot of 30. It's like my following is between the ages of 30 and 55. So it's a lot of us that are trying to figure this shit out. You know what I'm saying? And I tell you this, if nothing else, if you're struggling trying to figure out, okay, what kind of business that I need to start in order to make it happen in DR. just know this: it's not going to take cost you nowhere near what we would spend to start up in the United States. Okay, let's just be honest. To start up a reputable business in the United States, we're looking at no less than 50 grand. No less than 50 grand here in the United States. And you better hope and pray that that business is going to survive within a year. You know how many people put themselves in debt going to business, and it hasn't even survived a year? All that thousands of dollars being wasted. You know what I mean? So most businesses in the DR that we open up, it doesn't cost us no. I'm gonna be honest. To open up something substantial and reputable in the Dominican Republic, the startup cost could range anywhere between 5 to 10,000, and it could be more depending on the kind of business that you're looking to open up. But one thing I will say is that you have to know the business, the labor laws of the Dominican Republic to protect yourselves, especially if you're opening up a business and you're hiring employees and things of that nature. Make sure, and I have put out some informative information for the members only about labor laws and all the things that you need to know in order to protect not just you but your business as well. Can you guys hear me? 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 Prince, I appreciate that $20 donation, my bro. I appreciate that. Much love to you guys. Much love. Much love. I just want to make sure that you guys can hear me because somebody keeps calling me during my live. So I want to make sure y'all can hear me. Just give me a thumbs up again. All right. All right. Because it just, when people call me through my live, it just throws me off. It throws me off. Can't hear you. Clint Johnson, KC, let me know if you can hear me again. Just let me know. I don't want to keep talking. For those of you guys can hear me, give me the thumbs up. All right. All right, good. So yeah, what I was saying about investing our money in Dominican Republic, like if you were one of those people that are struggling to invest, listen, I have no problem investing my money with like-minded brothers. I don't. It's a way for a lot of us to be able to capitalize on our investments if we come together and if everybody's on the same page in terms of what we're gonna do and want to do. You see what I'm saying? Um, there's a lot of land that can be bought in the DR, a lot. And if it takes 10 of us to come together and all of us put in $10,000 in order to make it happen, why not do it? Especially if you are, coming, especially if you're coming out with a little over 1,000 square meters. I say that to you guys all the time. If you cannot afford to buy property by yourself, group together with some of your friends and families. Just pitch them the idea. And I know I get it. A lot of our family and friends is just not on the same time. Trust me when I tell you, because I've been traveling to DR since 2016, and when I first started traveling, a lot of you guys have been to El Pueblito. That was one of the places that I really wanted to invest in, and I had the opportunity to buy. It was a fixer upper for $20,000. I'm gonna be real with you guys. I had the opportunity to buy two apartments, fixer uppers for 20 grand, beachfront property. You know what I mean? And I wasn't making the kind of money that I would have liked to make at the time. And I propositioned my cousin, and I was like, "Yo," I took him to DL for the first time. I showed him. and he's regretting the shit now. He's regretting it now. Some of us got family and friends that just don't want to make that kind of move, and then they end up regretting it later on. And when my cousin says he says it to me almost every time we have that conversation. Damn, I wish we would have bought those two apartments because I told him I said, cuz it would have cost us about 22,000 to buy it, and then to fix it up to get. Because you got to think about it, guys. It already had the structure, and I'll talk about that a little bit more too. It already had the structure. All we had to do was go in there and do the plumbing, the electric, windows, paint, and that's it. It probably would have cost us maybe about an additional 15,000 a piece to get the apartments up and running to make it livable and to rent them out as Airbnbs. And we would have been, making our money. They would have paid for itself. You know what I mean? And this is what I tell a lot of you guys. If you're looking to invest in Dominican Republic and do Airbnbs, um, it all depends on how many Airbnbs you're looking to do. And I say it, if you're looking like me personally, being in this business and doing this for the time that I have been doing it, and for those of you guys who may have the money but just trying to figure out, okay, should I do Airbnb? Should I do this? Like, if you have the money and you're able to build something, the idea is build a six family unit, keep one unit for yourself, and sell the rest. Now, if you plan on living there and managing your Airbnbs, then that's one thing. If you don't plan on living there, that's a whole nother situation. And trust me, I know, I know. I have rented Airbnbs in Dominican Republic where the owner is not in the country and they're relying on some of the locals to make sure that things are being done. And there has been times when I have went, booked the Airbnb, got there, and had to complain to the owner about shit not being done. Like, and I told him, listen, I know it's not your fault. I know what goes on here, but I'm just telling you that when the cat's away, the mice will play. They certain things just wasn't done. You know what I mean? So if you're one of those people that are looking to invest in DR and you plan on starting Airbnbs, all I'm saying is make sure you are there to manage your own shit, one, or make sure you have somebody that is going to manage it as if it was their own business. I always say it. Nobody's going to run your business like you. It's just point blank period. When you going back to the Dominican Republic, I'm looking at November. I'm looking at November. I was supposed to be back down there in September, man, but I'll talk about that too. But I'm gonna answer some of you guys' questions. And it's 20 of you guys in here. It costs y'all nothing to hit the like, hit the share, and the subscribe button. I appreciate y'all always. And once again, who donated the $20? Prince, I appreciate the $20 donation, man. I do. Appreciate you. It's brothers like you that keep me going. You know what I mean? It's brothers and sisters like you, man, that keep me going. I'm down with that. We should pool our money and go big. Exactly. Exactly, Prince. It's enough of us. I mean, let's be honest. If you one of those brothers or sisters that goes down to Dominican Republic 3 and 4 times a fucking year, including renting a car, including Airbnb, and let's not talk about how much you're spending for entertainment. We're looking at about $10,000, within the 3 or 4 times that we have traveled down to the country. So if you take a year off to sacrifice and to get your money up, no less than 15, because I tell you guys all the time, and brothers that I speak to on my WhatsApp, because a lot of brothers, you reach out to me personally on WhatsApp, and we just be, if I got time to shoot the breeze, I'll shoot the breeze. And I'm always open to ideas. I'm always open to ideas. But I always say, if you make an investment, the less people you make the investment with, the better. So if you got like 5 to 10 people that are willing to invest $15,000, you know, that's a decent amount of money to get something decent. It really is, and it doesn't take anything to get a lawyer to draw up a contract, turn it into a SRL. because now it becomes an SRL, which is a company, you know what I mean, a nonprofit, and then that way, you once it's all said and done, everybody can divvy up, the parcels of the property that you're purchasing. So there's ways that it can be done, I've like I said, if I wasn't tied up into what I got going on right now, guys, trust you me, I would be pulling up with some of you brothers, because I got a few of you guys that are willing to make some investments, and they told me when I'm ready, please don't count them out. Um, you won't get your money back. Let me see. Those apartments were called shells. I'm all about finding a distressed property, fix it up, and sell condos. Walking and Talking says you won't get your money back though. What do you mean you won't get your money back? And Prince, have been looking at the video I sent you. The building has started on the Golden Eagle Homestead in El Coupe. Yeah, I've seen the videos that you sent, Clint. I've seen it. Um, you know, I know this. I put it to you like this: if you can find a distressed property, like Prince said, that would be your best bet. That's your bet. That's the best way to go. Finding distressed properties, and you know why I say that? I say that because if you already have something that you find that has a structure already done, that right there is half the course right there. When you already got something that already has a foundation, all you're doing is adding on to the foundation. Now, if you got to demolish it, demolish the whole structure. That's one thing. But if you're looking for a distressed property that you can invest in, that might be your best bet. And I think I mentioned that in one of the last videos that I made when I went down. For those of you guys that do know, when I was down there for a month this past spring, which was in, I think I left in April. I left in April, came back in May, just for a week or so. And the lady that I'm renting the apartment from, she done already started building apartments on top of her restaurant. And that was one of the things that she told me. Try to find properties that are fixer uppers. You can't go wrong. You just can't go wrong, especially when you already got water and electricity in the community. She told me, she said, where in this community, and I feel safe there. I'm one of those brothers, man. I love living amongst the locals. I do. I love living amongst the locals. Everybody has their own idea how they want to live, but if you are looking to invest in a country, my mentality is diving into the culture, getting to know, the ins and outs. And the only way you're gonna learn these things is if you are, in circle with the local people. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, you gotta be careful who you familiarize yourself with. You know what I'm saying? You definitely gotta be careful, but that's the only way you're gonna find out the ins and outs of DR. Trust me, you know. Now I have to trust. Let me see. Now I have to trust a local contractor to do their job with raids on Haitians. Yeah, I mean, listen, that's another problem, and we can all expect prices to go up with construction, only because let's just be honest, the Haitians were the backbone of the labor force when it comes to the construction industry. It is what it is, and when knowing that, this is why I tell you guys, do all of what you can do now, whether it be starting a project, finding your land, because things are going to get expensive, very expensive, very very expensive. Even in Sosua, a lot of and I don't really talk about Sosua so too much, only because there's a lot of you vloggers that are already talking about Sosua. Puerto Plata has always been my territory. I love Puerto Plata. It's just tranquilo. You know what I mean? You can live in Puerto Plata and not feel like you're being like gringos. Whereas in Sosua, it's like everywhere you turn around, you being, you got people haggling you. And I don't really get haggled in Puerto Plata unless, I'm going to the beach or unless I'm going to a tourist area. That's to be expected. You know what I mean? So I love Puerto Plata, but um, what I will say is, when it comes to Sosua, the government has they already got plans in action. They already know what they're going to do, and from what I'm seeing from watching, some of the vloggers on YouTube, some brothers and sisters that I know personally that have properties in Sosua, they're not getting the kind of traffic that they were getting prior to the government coming in and shutting everything down. You see what I'm saying? But if you guys can ride it out, those who own properties in Dominican Republic, I mean in Sosua, if you can ride it out, just ride it out, because better is coming. It is definitely coming. Do I know what's coming? No, I'm not. I don't know, but don't rest assured that it's going to be better. It's definitely going to be better, and you're going to get a better kind of clientele coming. From what I'm hearing, they're trying to make it like the next Punta Cana. Could I see that happening? Oh yeah, I definitely could see it happening. And change takes time. So for those of you guys who are worried and frustrated and struggling, and my heart goes out to the local businesses, man. It really does. It really does. But for those of you guys who were thinking about investing in Dominican Republic and maybe having cold feet now because of all the changes that are going on in Sosua, don't let that hinder or stop you from making your investments, because all it's going to do is benefit you in the long run. Trust me. Trust me. Sosua has Chrome, Praise Jesus, KC. Sosua has several neighborhoods. Exactly. Exactly. It has several neighborhoods. And there's a lot of us that just want to go and, just chill out, tranquilo, without all the extracurricular shit that goes on in Sosua. So you got brothers like that, and you got brothers that enjoy, the nightlife. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to attract different people. There were people that never didn't like going to Sosua only because of what goes on down there. Now that all that's being cleaned up, that will attract more of that clientele going into Sosua. And if you already have investments in Sosua, your mindset should be, you know, how to move with the change, how to adjust with the change, and implement new ideas in order to generate more revenue for your businesses. You see what I'm saying? That's what we should be doing, and connecting with other local businesses and coming up with strategic ideas to keep your businesses afloat. Okay, POP has lots of traffic and motorcycle traffic where you go. Um, it does. It does. POP does have a lot of traffic. It does, and this is one of the reasons why my house is tucked up in the mountains. Because I don't hear any of that. Once I come out of my community, then that's when you'll hear more motos and stuff like that. But I always wanted to be away from the peace and quiet. You see what I mean? Be away from the noise and be up in the peace and quiet where I don't got to worry about hearing motos all night. You know what I mean? And when I'm ready to play my loud music, I'm ready to play my loud music. And that's the difference between um, purchasing land in a community opposed to purchasing land in a non-gated community, because a lot of these gated communities, they have restrictions. They have restrictions. You guys, y'all all know that, and that's the thing. Like, who wants to be constricted? I know I don't. I don't want to be constricted, and this is why, for me, purchasing in a community was not an option for me. It wasn't an option. And if you are one of those people that want to live in a community but don't want all the kind of restrictions that all these other communities offer, I mean not offer, but are implementing, there might you might need to start your own community and find people who want to invest in the kind of community that you desire. Okay. And it's happening. I mean, it really is. You'd be surprised. Like I was just watching, I think it was came across the news. It was a black family, a black group of people who bought some land in some part of Georgia, and they started their own. Oh, be nice. What's going on, bro? What's going on? I didn't know who it was. I'm like, okay, appreciate the $2. Be nice. Um, yeah, like these black people, they started their own community in Georgia, and this is the same time that we need to be on buying a whole bunch of land and starting our own communities, growing our own fruits, our own vegetables, dedicating a certain area to that. Okay, where people who live in that community don't even have to worry about buying produce because there's plenty some on the compound. You know what I mean? So there are groups that are dedicated to doing this kind of thing, and I think that if we all came together as like-minded brothers and sisters, we can get this done. We can get it done, and I'm all for it. I'm all for it. If I can, come up with, I'm put it this way. I'm willing to sacrifice saving up 10 to 15 grand to make it happen. With a few other brothers and sisters who have the same mindset. Addition with all the new projects and condos in El Coupe there, and 10 huge projects up there. It's like gold mine in that area. Um, that'll never happen as a collective. We hate each other too much, sad to say. Almighty King, um, I'm not. I'm gonna say anything is possible. Anything is possible, my brother. It's all about finding like-minded people. That's the idea. Once you have a group of people that share the same ideas and values like you, I think it can be done with the people that have the same mindset as you, for sure. And I know a few people who have done that, who have bought land together collectively. You know what I mean? So um, I'm gonna say that anything is possible. Um, and when I go down there in November, I'm gonna check out El Coupe and see what's going on. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm really my next investment is more than likely gonna be in another city outside of Puerto Plata because I'm like, okay, you know what? I have my house. I got another piece of land that I just bought when I was down there in April. I have my apartment. No, I don't own it. I'm renting it, but I like to have another investment somewhere else, preferably in a growing city, a city where it's up and coming, a city where it's not so much to invest in, and I'm honestly thinking about an apartment. I'm really thinking about an apartment, and also because that's another thing, guys. Each one teaches one when it comes to sharing collective. What the hell was that? Like a possum. Yeah, each one teaches one when it comes to sharing collective information. And one of the things that I recently found out, shout out to Miss Sharonda if you watching this. Miss Sharonda, was just telling me that she was able to get a mortgage, and they were covering, I think, 95% or something like that. So if you're one of those people that are looking to obtain a mortgage, there are banks in DR that will do it. I'm gonna see if I can get Miss Sharonda to come on the channel and talk about it a little bit more, because she owns a few properties in Dominican Republic, her and her husband, so she can really shed light on different steps that you might need to take in order to obtain a mortgage in Dominican Republic. Just know that it can be obtained. Okay. Yeah. um, they bought that 10 years ago and nothing built yet. I applaud your optimism, but I'm speaking collectively as a people. I've watched Hispanics literally invest in my interior neighborhood to accommodate themselves. KC POP is the airport code for Puerto Plata. Yeah, I mean, as I said, um, I'm just a positive brother, and I think that we as a group of people need to break that cycle, and it can be broken, and it is sometimes it might have to take people like me and you in order to make a change and make a difference, to show our people that it can be done, and we can work collectively, and we can come together as a group of people and make it happen for ourselves. I think once we start seeing and more of that, it will empower our people to come together and do the same thing. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm gonna be positive about it. G Styles, what's going on, my guy? What's going on? You gotta let me know when you're heading back down to DR, bro. You gotta let me know. But yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at, man. I'm definitely excited for the future, for myself. And if you are one of those brothers or sisters that are in your 30s, man, my advice to you is sacrifice, work hard, save, save, and save some more. You know what I mean? And start getting yourselves acclimated to becoming more social in these Facebook groups and WhatsApp groups, and start familiarizing yourself with a lot of other like-minded brothers and sisters. Okay, because there are more. It's more powers in numbers. I always say that it's more power in numbers. So, the more people that um, it goes back to that old saying: "It's not what you know, it's who you know." So, when you get yourselves familiar with other expats, it can help your transition become. It can make it easier. It can help you to navigate things that you possibly couldn't navigate on your own. It can definitely open up a lot of doors for you when you put yourself out there. End of the month, I'll be back down until about the end of the month. I'll be back down until the okay. I'm looking at the end of October. I'm looking at the end of October, um, going into November. KC, I appreciate the $5, man. I appreciate that. And for those of you guys that's watching, be sure to hit the like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate the donations from all you guys. I have no idea. This is why I keep going, and just it's all about empowering, and help each other get to the next place. I can't wait till I get to that point, guys, where I'm just sitting in my crib, sipping on some Hennessy or some Woodford Reserve. That's my choice, a drink. You know what I mean? And just taking it all in from all the accomplishments that I have made, and not just the accomplishments, but the sacrificing and all the struggles and the ups and downs that I have made. And gotten this far. You know what I'm saying? So, and I've always tried to be transparent with you guys about everything. I want y'all to know the good, the bad, and the ugly. And if people are pitching to you all the good and not pitching to you any of the negative shit, that should be a red flag. It should be a red flag, because nothing comes easy, and nothing is just a smooth. Everything ain't just a smooth transition. Nah, there's going to be bumps along the road. trust and believe that. So if they telling you, selling you a pretty picture, it's a red flag. It's a red flag for sure. Yeah. So that's pretty much, where I'm at, focusing and staying focused. This is one of the reasons why I have been out of the loop for a little while, because I'm like trying to get this money up and get down there and finish up what I need to finish up. Because when I get to that point where um, the house, honestly, the house the way it is pretty much livable. If I was Dominican, I'd be living in there right now. And that's what my builder said. He's like, Dominicans, we like this house like this, we already inside the house. We got one room occupied, the burner, to cook, you know what I mean? But I want to do everything the right way. You know what I'm saying? I want to do it the right way. So and then after building the house, guys, that's a whole nother thing. Furnishing the fucking house. It's a never ending story when it comes to doing a home. Because now after it's all said and done, now you got to spend money to furnish it. Trying to figure out what's is it ideal for you to ship versus buying in DR, and these are the kind of things that you need to be researching now. And not just that, getting yourself prepared for when your house is done. You already have materials and you know blankets and sheets and towels, all the things that we don't think of, you know what I mean? So I always do that, like, yo, every week I get paid, my Amazon cart is full. I got shit on my wish list. I got things in the cart, you know what I mean? And because the last thing you want to do is wait to the last minute. Now you got to buy everything at once. No, I'm buying shit little by little by little by little. If you see my apartment, you'd be like, damn. Because I got thing in boxes, thing packed up. You know what I mean? So when I'm ready, I can just ship everything down: sheets, towels, brushes, underwear, curtains, things that we don't think of, especially if you one of those people that's accustomed to having quality shit. You would want to buy it from here. You know what I mean? So start writing those things down now. Things that your house is going to need, and things that that's going to be useful. You know what I mean? In your home. Um, do you have power in your house? Yes, I have power. I have electricity. And that's another thing. Let's talk about the power. We all know that DR is having an electricity issue. So if you know that this country has problems with the electric, the next best thing is to start investing in solar panels, guys. I was just talking to Brooklyn Nomad. Shout out to my boy Brooklyn Nomad, who's building a home in the Philippines right now. And for those of you guys, y'all see those of you guys who know me have seen me do collabs with Brooklyn Nomad. So be sure to check out his channel too, Brooklyn Nomad. So right now he's at the tail end with his house in the Philippines, and he is getting solar panels installed. And for the price that he's getting them for in the Philippines, because we have been comparing prices back and forth. Those of you guys who know us, initially Nomad was building a house um, in Monte Plata, but once he got to Asia, he sold everything in Dominican Republic. He sold his he sold his apartment, and his land is still for sale right now. And I told him as a friend, I said, bro, hold on to your land, because he wanted to get rid of it, because he was building on that, and he just stopped everything once he found out, the price of construction in Philippines. And you know, us having that conversation, I said, bro, just hold on to your property. Land is appreciating fast in Dominican Republic. Even if you don't want to do it, even if you don't have any intentions on building on it now, or even in the future for that matter, just sit on it and let the value go up on it. You know what I mean? And then you'll sell it later on. But yeah, we were going back and forth with the comparison of solar panels, and for him to I think he's got about 8 panels. He paid, for installation, everything. He's looking at $6,000. You know, he's looking at 6 grand to install solar panels in his home in the Philippines. So, living up in the mountains, if you are, one of those people that's living, in the campo, you need to get solar panels because the government and their electricity is not sustainable enough. You know what I mean? It's not sustainable enough. I want to know that if the power goes out, I still got power and I don't got to worry about it. Yeah, it costs a lot more in the long run, but you end up trust me, you end up benefiting from it because if eventually you'll start getting paid from the power company. They'll start paying you. So my suggestion would be get those panels. Don't hesitate on it. Even if you got to kick out a little bit, especially if this is your home and you plan on living in this shit, guys. I always say that if you're investing in DR and you're investing for yourself, that's one thing. If you're investing to make money, that's another. Yeah, you want to invest your money and do an Airbnb. You want the Airbnb to look nice, of course, but you can make an Airbnb look nice without having to break the bank, guys. You don't. So when these contractors are telling you, oh, high quality, low quality, mid quality, that shit is all the same. So it's all the same. You just spend a little bit more for what you like. You know, that's all. Let me read some of y'all comments. Your place is dope. Prince, I appreciate that, bro. And I can't wait till we get down there, you know what I mean, and I throw a housewarming and have a few of the brothers and sisters from the channel that I've been rocking with from day one, and we just enjoy, you know what I mean? I can't wait to get to that point. I can't. Walking and talking with Mr. Green. I have the inverter, and it's on maybe 3 times a day in an expat community. Moving to SOV on February, so generator will be turned in and right back on. Definitely ask for furnished housing. Definitely ask for furnished housing to take your time. What area in DR was he building? I'll be there. Um, I'm building in Puerto Plata if you were referring to me. Yeah, I'm building in POP. Yeah, building in POP, man. Best decision I've ever made. People told me not to build there, not to do this, not to do that. And now with all the changes going on, um, I made the best decision ever. I have. And you can't let people deter you from your dream and what you want to do for yourself. Trust me. Most people that tell you can't do it or not to do it or you shouldn't do it, it's because they can't do it they damn self. Trust me. And always know this that your biggest supporters are going to be people that don't know you. Your biggest supporters are going to be people that don't even know you guys. Don't even know you, you know? But I always say, as um as this expat community continues to grow in Dominican Republic, is for us to really connect and not find, but create a safe haven, something sort of like a club, like they have, like here in New York, we have bicycle clubs, like an expat club where every expat puts in um, member dues, pays member dues to keep it afloat, and the expat gets together and share ideas, have picnics, have outings, you know what I mean, things of that nature, and just have an interchange of encouragement and share ideas. I've always wanted to create something like that in Puerto Plata, a safe haven for expats. Something happens, there's a network that we all are connected in. It's very important. I can't stress that enough. It's very, very important to have that. Um, one of my buddies from the channel, Martin, if you're watching this, shout out to Martin. Martin just, he's out there he's in DR right now handling his business, and it just so happened that he got into a motorcycle accident. You know, thank God he's all right. But just small examples like that. Things happen. You never know what curve life may bring, and then you down there, you get yourself caught up in a situation. You want to be able to have somebody that you can call and reach out to that can help you. It's not. I mean, it's frightening being in a place where you ain't got no help, and especially when shit hits the fan and there's a language barrier and you can't express yourself uh, the way you want to. It's like really being in a vulnerable state. So it's always good to stay connected. I can't stress that enough. Um, I feel bad for people. G Style says, I feel bad for people that bought recently in Sosua and are depending on rental income from tourists to pay their villas. It's rough out there right now. Yo, G Styles, you ain't said nothing but a word, bro. Cause I've said this. It's really unfortunate. It really, really is, because those people who are in that situation, a lot of them have borrowed off their 401ks. A lot of them have taken out loans, whether it be here in the United States, whether it be in Dominican Republic. You know, this is hurting. It's really hurting them bad. It really is. And I said to you guys before, if anybody who was going through that situation right now, if you are in a situation where you own property in Dominican Republic and you're losing money day by day only because of tourism and all of what's going on, contact me, taylorjayson01 at gmail.com with your info, and I can always pass your Airbnb info on to people who might be looking. you know um, yeah, it's a sad situation, and this is one of the reasons why, yeah, for me in my situation, yeah, guys, it may have taken me 4 years to build a fucking house, but one thing I will say is that I spent that money out of my pocket. I didn't borrow. So even if things were slow for a year in DR and I wasn't making any money, I'm not defaulting on a loan because of it. You see what I'm saying? So this is why I always say, for those of you guys who are in your 30s, you have the ability to make the money and save and make the money and save and make the money and save, and then go and build this house and buy your land without having to take out a loan. You have that ability. You have it. So if it takes you 4 or 5 or 6 years, ask yourself this: what the fuck is the rush? What is the rush? What is the rush, guys? What is the rush? It's better to do it like that. And if you got to take a year off to regroup, what is the rush? If you got to take a year off to regroup, then so be it. But doing it the way that I did it, you don't have to worry in the long run. You don't got to worry. All that money that I spent is out of pocket, except for the. I got to reiterate that, except for the $15,000 loan that I borrowed in the beginning, and that loan, that 15,000, like I said, time goes by so fast, guys. That loan will be paid off December 2026. I got one more year, a little over a year to pay that loan off that I borrowed from the bank. So if I wanted to borrow an additional 15, 20, I could do that. I could do it. But I honestly, the way I'm doing it now, I'm accustomed to doing it my way out of pocket, and I'm going to continue to do it that way. That way, I'm not obligated to owing anybody anything. You see what I'm saying? It works. It works for me. It may not work for you. My way might not be the right way for you guys. It might not be, but it's the best way if you ain't got the money. It's the best way. Trust me. The guy that moved to Philippines, what area of land was he building? Um, he's building in Bohol. He's building in Bohol. It's in the province. It's in the province of you. You would have to fly into Cebu and then take a boat to Bohol. So yeah, it's in the province of Bohol, and he's building his home for 20 grand. 20 right now. Yeah, he spent about 20 grand, and I will honestly say, um, it doesn't make sense how the cost of materials and labor is so cheaper in the Philippines than it is in Dominican Republic. It rocks me when I, because me and him have been comparing, and they do good quality work. Them Philippines is no joke when it comes to construction. I'm gonna tell you because I see what he's doing, and if you're interested, just check out his channel, Brooklyn Nomad, guys. Check his channel out and see what he's doing on there. But he's doing his thing. I must say he's doing his thing. Um, KC says, G Styles, I know a couple of guys that recently bought investment condos in Sewer. Those guys that sold them knew what was coming. Yeah, they knew what was coming. Yeah, you got to think about it. Anybody that's got investments in DR, I mean in Sosua, the word travels. Sosua is but this big, so the word travels around fast. Travels around fast. It does. I can. Oh, what my biggest thing is, because I love Sosua. I love the beach. I love the vibe, and I think that what I'm going to miss the most is the authenticity of Sosua. The luxury of being able to walk on the beach, get the fried fish, the local Dominican comida dominicana, served right to you. You know what I'm saying? The Haitian women coming, selling her peanuts, and the Dominican guy coming and selling his shrimp and oysters and shit like that. If they get rid of all of that, it's going to take away from the experience. You see what I'm saying? It's going to take away from the experience. So I don't know to what scale, to what larger scale they plan on like revamping that whole beach. But I just hope that they keep some of those little pubs down there, because I'm gonna miss the hell out of that if they do. I really am. I think they should have just left that part of the beach alone. Okay, they wanted to build a little plaza down there by what is that area called, Los Charamicos. Go as you entering over there, if they wanted to, build a little plaza over there, but don't demolish the whole fucking thing. That's my thing. Don't demolish it all. You're gonna demolish that to put what, condos up there, and then now you got to worry about that. And that's my biggest thing, because sometimes, when we want to invest and do beachfront properties, sometimes we do more harm to the ecosystem, you know, than anything. We thinking we're doing better, but no, we're causing more harm to the ecosystem. Because my major concern is, if they do decide to build those condos along the beach, where I hope they have a good plan of sewage and where they're pumping this sewage in, because when I used to stay at the my allergies are acting up, guys. When I was staying at the Confressi over there in the lifestyles, right? This is when I first started traveling to DR, and what I noticed that they have a lot of, you can smell the raw sewage on the compound, and what really struck me the most is the fact that when you enter the water over there near the lifestyles, the water is not clear. It's not like the water in Sosua. It's not like the color of the water over there on the Malicone. It's not like the color of the water in Cabarete. That shit is like a murky color, and I'm just like, yo, it makes you wonder: are they pumping the raw sewage into the ocean from here? You know what I'm saying? Because that will destroy the ecosystem. So these are the kind of things that I question. Y'all are trying to make changes, but I'm hoping that the changes they making are for the good and not causing harm to the ecosystem. That's my biggest thing. You know, so only time will tell what's going to happen. But I will tell you this: big things are coming. Like my big up to my Jamaicans, but big things are coming in Puerto Plata, especially on the North Coast. So you guys need to get in now and act now before you get priced out. And I say if I don't if I can't afford to buy any more property in Puerto Plata, I can say, hey, I got two pieces. I got two pieces. So you guys got to get on it. You got to get on it. Hit the share, hit the like, hit the share, and subscribe, guys. They they had open sewage. KC, where in the lifestyles? Where do they have open sewage? Because that's the main thing. Y'all they wanna yeah, those boat docks coming near Matayano. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised because that shit's gotta go somewhere. It's gotta go somewhere, you know? It's gotta go somewhere. So when you're building on beachfront properties, you want to make sure that the plumbing is done the right way. And I'll be honest, who the hell wants to invest on beachfront properties anyway? With all this was going on, when the natural disasters and even your structures get eroded because of the salt. All those things people need to take into consideration when they're thinking about building on near water and the flooding and all that shit that it has to offer. I'm not spending thousands of dollars, to build on a beachfront property, and I could have flooding issues in the future. Like, what point does that make? But hey, to each is his own. To each is his own. But I know me, that's not something that I would recommend. Give me mountain, ocean view all day. I'll take it. I'll take it. But yeah, so once I get down there in November, I'm gonna try to explore some other cities along the North Coast just to see what else is out there. I want to check out Miches because I'm hearing it's really up and coming, and I just want to see what the real estate is looking like over there. I also want to visit the Hard Rock Cafe in Sosua. Not, I just want to see the changes that everybody's talking about. If there's any, I want to see for myself, and that way I can report to you guys. Yo, this is what's going on. That's what's going on, and places that you might be looking to invest your money. You see what I'm saying? So I know one thing. When it comes to making investments, you always want to invest where you see construction going on. Ideally, I like to have a little spot over there in the plaza in Sosua, and if not there, the little plaza that they're opening up little more a plaza over there in Jumbo, because that's any place where you track tourists and stuff. You can't go wrong, guys. You cannot go wrong. You can't. You can't go wrong. And if you're looking to do something like locally, you got to get yourself familiarized with the locals. Like, for instance, shout out to Cortez. Cortez, if you're watching, hats off to you, bro. Salute. Brother's doing his thing. He's an expat who has been living in Dominican Republic for quite some time, and he's pretty much made a name for himself locally, to the point where the locals are coming to his spot to patronize. They're buying his beers. You would think the way he's got it set up, guys, you would think it's a little a Dominican owned the bodega, and he don't really got much going on. See, that's the thing. Like, a lot of us think we have this idea or preconceived notion that When we go into business in DR, we gotta spend thousands and thousands of dollars. When I checked out his little spot, and I had no idea Cortez had a little local little spot. One of the other expats is like, "Yo, we're gonna go to Cortez's spot." When we pulled up, I was like, "Oh shit!" He had the Dominican music playing. He had ice cold beers. There's nothing like like I like my beers so cold where you can see the frost on the bottle. That's how Dominicans like their beer, and I like my beer like that too. He serves ice cold beers, rum. You know what I mean? And some little potato chips and shit, stuff to keep people, from getting like fully drunk. Little peanuts and stuff like little snacks. And you got the Dominicans there playing dominoes, playing cards. You got the chica behind the bar doing the serving and stuff. A few little chicas there, but and they come and they buy beers, and he's got a lot of traffic, and not just the locals, but some of us expats be going there patronizing the business. So, you know, if you're looking to open up a business, it doesn't take much. It really, really don't. As I said, you got to research what's around you. Talk to some of the expats about the expats and even the locals. Talk to some of the locals and ask them like, "Yo, what kind of business you think will work here? What does DR have a need for?" You know, and you research, you find a location, and you pretty much go from there. And let's just say your business doesn't survive within 6 months. Okay, it's better to do it over there than to do it in the States. Let's just say, okay, you lose a couple of thousand in the DR. It's better to lose a couple of thousand in the DR than lose thousands in the United States. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Um, you have to constantly, KC says, you have to constantly paint the house for beachfront. Exactly. You got to constantly paint, and that's going to be expensive. It can be costly in the wrong one when you constantly got to paint a house. Well, to maintain concrete anyway is costly over time, and this is one of the reasons why when I done rented out plenty of Airbnbs. I got to roll out these windows, getting it's a little hot in New York City, guys, a little hot. But one of and that was another thing, like when you're building and you're doing a construction thing, you always want to talk to other people that are in doing, that's in the game, that's in the loop, other Airbnb hosts. And meeting one of the hosts that I was renting from, she asked me, she said, "Well, when you're done, when it comes to the interior, what do you plan on doing as far as paint?" And I said, "Oh, I want to get paint from the States." And she shut me down right away. She was like, "Don't do it." She's like, "Don't do it." And I'm like, "Well, why?" And she was just like, "Because concrete, it chips, the paint chips all the time. You constantly got to paint. You constantly got to paint." She's like, "It's better to just go all white." You know what I mean? It's better to go all white. You save a lot more money doing it that way. And I decided, you know what? Maybe she's right. It's probably better just to do all white. If you want to do a one room custom, but to individualize each room with paint, it could be cost effective and a hassle. And then if you ship and paint from the United States, especially if you're living out there permanently, like who's going back and forth to get paint from the United States to ship to Dominican Republic? I know I'm not. So when it comes to things like that, guys, you got to be a little realistic. Got to be a little realistic when it comes to things like that. Yeah. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to get on the live and shoot the breeze with you guys. I hope that some of the stuff that I was saying is, encouraging, inspiring. I just want to see you guys win. I just want to see everybody win, man. We all are deserving to enjoy the fruits of our labor and have the quality of life that we deserve. That we deserve. Because this shit here, New York City, United States, this shit is modern day slavery. It's modern day slavery. I mean, what time do we really have to enjoy with our family and our friends? What time do we really have to enjoy? And then most times for me, like when I go down to DR, guys, I have to like mentally talk to myself like, Jay, you need to slow down because like I'm so accustomed living in New York. I don't know what part of the countries you guys are from, but in New York, like we talk fast, we walk fast, we move fast. Everything is done in a New York minute. You know what I mean? And I say to you, I feel like a lot of times I'll be repeating myself, but going down to DR and invest in DR, man, it humbled my ass quick. It humbled me quick and taught me how to be a little bit more patient and to tranquilo, because if you don't practice, if you don't exercise patience, guys, especially when it comes to doing business, you will lose your shit. You will definitely lose your shit. And it has taken me years to exercise patience and to kind of just go with the flow and adapt, try to adapt to. I'm not gonna. I mean, I hate to say it, but it's the truth. The lackadaisical mentality of, the Dominican culture. You know what I mean? It's just part of. It's part of business. You tell somebody, you tell a local, yo, be here at 7 o'clock. They're not getting there till 10, okay? And they showing up like it's nothing. You know what I mean? But that's what I have encountered. And for those of you guys who are not in the loop yet, these are the kind of things that you will encounter. So don't look at it as bad business. Don't look at it as, it's just a different culture, guys. It's just a different culture, you know? It is what it is. But you will encounter all of that. All of that. But at the same time, I wouldn't trade any of it for the world. I wouldn't, you know. Um, I feel at home, and it's funny now. My people are like, "Where you going? You going home?" Nah, bro, that's your home. That is home to you now, And it still feels funny for me to say that, but and the longest I've ever been down there and stayed in DR, only because my job just won't allow me to stay the lengthy time that I would like. But the longest I've ever stayed was for a full month. And it was like, yo, the best month I've ever had. Like I already once that third week started, dwindling down to the third week, the last week I should say, I started getting depressed, melancholy, all that shit. Like I'm like, oh man, I gotta get back to the States and just with the rat race and you know what I'm saying, and all of that. So yeah, that's why most like this next time I go, I already said I'm doing a lot of me time, and not just that, focusing on the kind of content that I plan on putting out when I go back next time, guys, is going to be more content geared to giving back. So y'all can expect that. Um, I wanna do more to make an impact, on people's lives, whether it be out of my pocket or donations from you guys. I don't ask you guys for nothing. I don't. All of what I do is out of pocket. Y'all already know this is the real deal. What you see is what you get. Yeah, I might ask you guys to donate. If you don't, you don't. If you do, you do. Like whether you do or not, I'm what J Day is going to make it happen regardless. You know what I mean? So I really want to focus on giving back to the communities that I serve, and that I'm living in. Like where I just bought the second piece of land. There's a school right near the property, so when I go back down there, I plan on donating some food and donating a little something to the kids that attend that school in that community. I'm always about the kids, man. I'm always about the kids. They're our future, so we got to make sure if we don't make sure they're good, who else is going to? So it's our job to protect our future and to make sure and to invest in our future. You know what I mean? So um, that's what I'm gonna be working on. Yeah. Blessings from Phoenix. I appreciate you, Kevin Vosta. What's up with the nose emo? What, I got a big nose? I know I got a big nose. I don't need you to tell me or anybody else, but there's somebody out there that likes this big nose. Somebody out here that likes his big nose, whether you think it's big or not. So yeah. But anyway, on that note, guys, I appreciate y'all the love and support always. Um, I'm gonna close out saying this: continue to invest in yourselves, body, mind, soul, financially, because ain't nobody gonna do it but you. Especially if you want it that bad, and you can do it. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't. Hard work, determination, and perseverance will get you there. And not just that, surrounding yourselves around like-minded people, people that can really help you to grow, people that can support what you're doing. My nose is bigger. Word. He getting on my nose, man. Like, come on. It's other things to talk about than my big ass nose. I'm just saying. Tell me something positive, Kevin Voster. Tell me and my viewers what we can do to make it happen and get to the next phase in our lives where we could thrive. Tell me something like that rather than sending me bullshit emos of a big nose. you know. But yeah, just continue to surround yourselves around like-minded people, people that can help you thrive and push you and give you that interchange of encouragement that you need to keep going and to keep fighting. Not just that, to keep wanting more for yourselves. That is the idea. Um, we in the United States, we have been indoctrinated to believe that we gotta wait to where what's the retirement age now? I think 67 in order to retire. Like that's some old bullshit. Like we we not even living to see 70 nowadays. What's the life expectancy in the United States? What, 80? You better hope you make it to 80 without any ailments and health problems. So the time is now to work hard while you're in your late 20s, early 30s, so that by the time you reach a good season age, which 40, 45, once you start transitioning into your 40s, know, uh, you should be where you want to be. You know, um, it didn't happen for me that way, and I'm gonna be real with you. I was a late bloomer when it came to this shit. Like, who would ever thought that I would be in the position that I am in now, had I not have taken a dolo trip to Dominican Republic back in 2015? Who would have ever thought? That was my first international trip. Uh, Well, no, it was my second because that year I went to Trinidad. I went to TNT, I believe in the spring, and then that September of 2015, I ended up going to Dominican Republic, and just it by myself. Who would ever thought that I would be in this position right now, with the YouTube channel, with the house, with land, with an apartment, talking to you guys about investing in Dominican Republic. Like, you never know where life may take you if you don't step outside the box. A lot of us are afraid of change. We're afraid of taking risk and taking chances. And in order to be successful in life, sometimes in most cases, the most successful people are the risk takers. Are the risk takers. So are you willing to sacrifice and take risks that people in your circle who may be telling you you shouldn't, telling you you can't, giving you all the reasons as to why you shouldn't, you know? And once you start encountering that, it's time for you to ring the alarm and separate yourselves and remove yourselves from those kind of people. Most of my circle now is not from people that I've known from years. A majority of my circle now is people that I have met off of my channel, that have contacted me. And we may not speak every day, but every now and again you guys will pop in and pop out like, J-Day, how things going, and we sit, we have a conversation, and you know what I mean? And just hearing the positive feedback from you guys is a motivation for me within itself. And there are people that have been, a lot of you guys have been following me from day one. And from those of you guys who've been following me from day one already know what time it is. I don't got to tell you. And then there's you guys who just started discovering my channel and following my channel and, seeing what I'm doing and where I'm at and where I'm currently going. But it's always one thing I will say, guys, has always been positive. And everything that I said that I was going to do, I have done thus far. And a lot of you guys know that I don't just run my mouth. I talk. I may talk, but I put things in action behind all this. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So, all right, guys, I'm 85 minutes in. This was really unexpected to be on here this long. I appreciate y'all for tuning in and watching the live. Be sure to hit the like, hit the share, and hit the subscribe button. Um, I'm really, really working on trying to get down there in November, guys, because I'm so anxious to get this roof done and to get the countertops done in the house. Uh, it's been a journey to say the least. 2026 is approaching. So I'm trying to close out doing as much as I can so that once 2026 comes in, it's less things that I have to do. All right. So that's pretty much where I'm at now and looking for a roommate. And guys, I'm going to say this. If you don't learn anything else from this live, for those of you guys who, because I really want to see you guys win out here. I really do, man. I really do. And for me, um, well, I'm gonna say this. One of the viewers, shout out to Crazy World. He sent me something, and I've said this a few times, and because it always sticks with me. And when I'm going through, when I'm going through a mood where I'm feeling, when I'm in a mood, I should say, when I'm feeling like a little melancholy or depressed and shit, I reflect on what Crazy World sent me, and it keeps me motivated and keeps me pushing and keeps going. And that what he sent me is said this: sometimes you have to make yourself uncomfortable in order to be comfortable. Okay. And I have done a lot of sacrificing that has put myself in a uncomfortable situation to the point where it's no longer uncomfortable for me because I have adapted to my situation. You see what I'm saying? Oh, I can adapt, baby. I can definitely adapt. In the beginning, it might be a little transition, but I can adapt. And part of me adapting is uh, taking on a roommate, giving up my personal space in order to get to the next step. So if you guys have to rent out your personal space, bring in a roommate, um, do some lifestyle adjustments in order to thrive later on and reap the benefits of your the fruits of your labor, guys, it's only temporary, and that's all you need to be telling yourselves. This shit is only temporary, and you'd be surprised how far it will take you, putting yourself in an uncomfortable situation in order to make yourself comfortable. You'd be surprised. So I just wanted to leave you guys with that. Make all the adjustments and sacrificing in order to make it happen for yourselves. Because I'm a living proof to this shit, and I'm gonna tell you, if I can do it, you guys can too. All right. I appreciate y'all for tuning in always. Stay tuned for future content coming up. Haitian Ghost, keep it up. Keep up the good work, my brother. I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate all you guys who've been following me from day one. I do. Y'all don't think I know who you are, but I know who my day ones are, man. And I appreciate y'all from the bottom of my heart. So I'm about to clock in to work in the next half hour. For those of you guys who's just tuning in, be sure to hit the like, hit the share, hit the subscribe button. And again, I appreciate the love and support always. Y'all take care of yourselves. Until then, I'll be seeing y'all soon. Peace and love, guys.